So yes, another week, another session of D&D. Rescue from Raxis. Last time...
around there.
Last time, our noble heroes, and slightly less noble heroes, left town. One of them returned to town, then left town again. There was a lot of conversations, a lot of finding out, a lot of payment that was not given, and some simple trade and, becoming part of a community that they immediately abandoned. They were confused somewhat by a local landmark. Caused some consternation. And then they followed their ears to a gathering of gnolls and a creature that seemed to blend in well with them. At this point, the party realized that, it's really important to just have a break now and again, to put the feet up. Recharge the old batteries. Cornelius almost met his end, but luckily the ruling did not say it was this time yet. Siegfried too nearly met his end, but not to the same degree. And now, you stand in a forest clearing. Corpses of several gnolls around you. You know that the archers ran away to the east and the south. Where they're still running, who knows? But you're all feeling pretty worn down.
Well, I suggest we head back to the wagon, get some distance, and then make camp.
Do we check to see if anybody has anything that we might want to use later?
It's gnolls. I don't think they have.
They had
You
some
never
interesting.
know.
I wonder if I can take some of their arrows. They were interesting.
You could take some of the arrows, but they're the ones that are lodged into you and your compatriots. You actually didn't kill any of the archers.
Womp, 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 womp.
Oh,
Like,
What do can I slowly remove the arrows that are in me so I can actually move maybe 1 foot?
Yeah, just tell me who you want to remove them from and give me a medicine check.
Oh no. I'm trying to remove them from myself at the
Okay,
moment.
from yourself, that's fine. It's rough going. They are barbed. They are quite horrible, and they're all sort of... Like, once you pull out one, and it hurts like hell, you're trying to pull out the other, and you're realizing the shape is different. It's kind of randomized.
Oh God.
So, it's a rough going as you pull them out. You do take, as you self-administer, you do take 3 points of damage. As, one of the worst things to do when you're stabbed by something is to remove it. But you also managed to gather up two of the barbed arrows from yourself that are intact enough to fly again. With a rinse down. There's quite a lot of cobalt stuck to them.
I am loath to ask you of this, but could you help me get these arrows out of me?
well. How? Oh dear. You are aware that I don't have any spells right now, right? Well, yeah, I have absolutely no spells right now, except for one level 1 spell.
Oh,
Do you
dude.
have any medicinal practice?
Not really.
Mechanically, a cure wounds would force the arrows out. It might still sting.
Yeah, I think I'll use the cure wounds to fix. That's as best as we're gonna get here. I am not going to try to do something and then royally muck it up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Such a good healer.
Oh yes, I'm a very good healer. 10 out of 10.
Otherwise, I would just use my roll up my 3 in medicine and try and pull them out myself. I was worried about asking if you actually had any medicine.
See, I'm gonna eat Pufflesworth on hand.
Well, okay, while they're healing up, I'll loot the bodies. Because, might as well.
Alright. give me an investigation roll in general. Let's see here. What monster sheets will I need?
Get all my bad rolls out of the way early.
As you're rummaging around, it's not like they're festooned with pockets or anything. There's no secret hiding place that you want to delve into, at least. And as you just root around, what you can find are various dried ears, some pointed, some rounded. There's a few still wet fingers. All in all, you manage to get about 4 pairs of hands worth of fingers, some chewed. No thumbs, oddly. Not a single thumb. And 15 ears. There's also 1 jawbone that's been mostly gnawed of flesh. Could be halfling, maybe. It's a bit small. Could be a child.
What a haul.
They also do have each one of these gnolls that you kill do have 2 short swords. But they're pretty badly nicked and scraped and covered in human blood.
I can't say I'm surprised. But, well, at least we know now that there's nothing about it.
Also, while you're all standing there watching, it's not really having as much effect as, say, the crypt or the swamp did, but it's still pretty badly reeking from that Lacrata nearby.
May I suggest we head back to the wagon and be on our way?
Yes, I agree. I very much want to do that.
Absolutely, I see no need for these fingers to come with us.
I mean, that might be handy. A little bit handy. And so you all venture back. As you get to the wagon, you see your 3 horses. You see the goblin. And he waves. And then there's a little... His eyes sort of widen a bit. His waving stops as he notices the bad state Cornelius in and rushes over, prestidigitizing the blood away.
Aw.
It's kind of cute, yet kind of sad.
And yeah, it is the dead of night. You're still nearby those arches. Well, one of them.
Oh yeah, the arches.
Let's find up someplace nice to camp.
Yeah.
She's asking you, not me.
Yeah.
Look,
I suggest we move
Okay.
up the road just a slight bit before making camp. I imagine the gnolls will not have difficulty. We might find reinforcement and ambush us in the night.
I quickly search for a place that would be a good camping spot with a bit of fortification, possibly.
Alright, you stand up upon the wagon, you look around and realize you've got 60 feet of dark vision and nothing more.
Excellent.
In the immediate area, yeah, seems alright. But maybe it's a bit close, maybe you should trundle for a little bit. And there is... the moon's pretty high. It's not quite full just yet, but very nearly. And you are getting a little bit of idea of the lay of land as your eyes adjust. You just sort of try to focus in the darkness, and what you can see is just the tree line is continuing on the side of the road you're on, the right side. And then the hills are starting to build in the mountains in the further distance on the left, but you know, there might be a little nook or something you camp out at again, just like you did when you were near Ribaldi. But as it stands, I mean, this seems fine enough, but you know different.
Yes, let's just press on a little bit to find somewhere better.
It doesn't take long to move another, half mile or so. Feels a little bit better. There's been no sign of the gnolls. No, you've not picked up on any laughter. And yeah, there is on the hilly side. It actually looks like it's been cleaved slightly, just eroded forcefully. It's just a flat bit of bare stone with a hill attached to it. Some of the tree line's been pushed away. There's a general lack of underscrub and bush line. So, yeah, a place you could pitch a tent. And also set up camp. Hey!
Yep, sounds perfect at this point.
We like sleeping.
You like hit points.
Hit points are fun. All right, so you're
Yes,
settling
but
down
more
for a
fun.
long rest?
Oh yes.
I believe
Mhm.
so.
Does anybody have any spell slots left, or everybody's empty?
I have one more heal.
I
From
have
my-
0.
I have a couple of spell slots left.
What are spell slots?
I have just utility stuff, but none of it's healing.
Well, he's not talking about healing.
I hand over my ring of spell storage to the ranger to get that stuck in it.
Crazy.
Oh, okay. So I'm
Okay,
assuming you want to cure
You offer your
wounds
ring
or
to
a
the
healing
kobold
word?
in the hopes he'll fill it. Yes. It can hold up to
Which
5
spell
levels
are you
worth of
at?
spells.
Yeah, but I can't cast many higher than 1. So, do you want a cure wounds or a healing word?
Whatever it ends up being in it, I'm guessing.
No, he needs to put the actual spell into it.
Okay, you get a hunter's mark.
Wouldn't be terrible for a rogue. It's one more d6 to his pile.
Okay, so that's Hunter's Mark is 1.
Yeah.
I have to be able to cast to another people, don't I?
No,
Like
no,
you
you can
can't
just.
put a self-only spell in it.
Oh, you can.
Oh, I can.
Yeah, it doesn't limit the spells just so long as it takes. Oh, actually, no. Hunter's Mark wouldn't be able to go on there. It has to be an action. I think.
Oh, okay. So it has to be-
Yeah, yeah, hunter's mark's a bonus.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it has to be.
I was gonna give Misty Step, but no.
Let's see here. Checking for. No,
Misty
it
Step
doesn't
is a bonus.
specify. So yeah, Hunter's Mark can go in.
Oh, nice.
There's another item that's like that though. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, so any spell that's level 1 to 5.
Oh, I'll actually cast healing word into that ring then.
It feels a little weird as you do a little chant of helping something get up or stop the bleeding into just this weird yellow ring. But it takes a spell enough. You can see a few of the runes are blinking on it.
Okay. Anybody else got any spells they want to put into the ring?
Well, I have several you could have. You could,
I have a few.
That's a good practice for Drew. Yep.
Are you sure you want Droop to put anything in there?
I mean, he's not wrong. He has spells.
and
And
what
we can
would you
actually
su-
find out what they are.
Maybe.
and what spells would you suggest that Siegfried had, Droop?
Well, I copied one you used a lot. Sleep. I put that in.
Uh-huh. And what else?
I think I fixed Fog Cloud. And then I've got this Chaos Bolt that was in the book.
Well, Siegfried?
Well, at this point in time, I don't care what goes in. I just need some sleep.
There we go, sleep.
You do realise if he actually cast it, he'd probably wipe out half the party.
Well, he casts it into the ring, so it doesn't take
Maybe.
effect.
Yeah. We could all do with a nap, right?
Not that kind of nap.
I do have some second level spells. I could put in. I'm guessing that
I believe sleep is a level 1,
Yep.
so at the moment there's 3 slots left.
you could get enlarge, reduce, flaming sphere, whole person, scorching ray, or spider climb.
I've got a Misty Step, Mirror Image, Dispel Magic, and Curse.
Do you deal with a wizard or the devil?
Why not both? It's the same thing.
Yeah, I was about to say the only difference is the horns.
Did
Well, spider climb probably wouldn't be a bad option.
Do you want spider climb?
Yeah, that's a level 2, isn't it?
Yeah. So it'll probably take 2 slots then.
Yep.
And we'll give the warlock the last slot to see what we end up with there.
It has to be level 1 even though you do cast things higher. It's up to you, Castalia, what you put into the ring.
I'm gonna put in Misty Step to give our rogue a little more movement. As a
Alright.
bonus, he can move. He can cast a spell to move 30 feet in any direction he wants, and it's a teleport.
Yep. But of course, because it uses your guys' spells, so when he casts it, you guys will be ones clicking the spells in your sheets. Okay?
Okay.
Even though most of these don't actually have DCs or anything. But it's important for some. And yeah, as you all bunk down for the night,
Just curious, do you mean that it's our abilities that count for it, or it's the spell slot?
it's your abilities.
Okay.
Yeah. So say if he put in Chaos Bolt from Droop, it would be Droop's casting modifier added to the hit roll and whatnot.
Oh, so that means it's Droop's modifier and sleep.
Yeah.
Luckily there isn't one.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, there's no save, and it's just the dice by itself. It's what makes it a really good first level spell. So as you're all
I'll
filling
take first watch.
So as you lot are filling Siegfried's ring, what's the rest of you doing?
I'm just getting ready.
I'm working with Mr. Pufflesworth.
The dwarf's already out of his armor, putting on his onesie.
Yep.
He's got the hat with the droopy bit of puff ball on the end of it.
Oh, I did change my my robe into a nightgown.
Oh, that actually reminds me. I hand out the pelts I got, so that everyone can be nice and snug, including the giant boar's head for Nogurn.
You know what? It would fit pretty well on the dwarf. Kind of thing that would protect from any breaking glass around his skull.
It looks about right to go through Windows. You could practice more on Windows.
I like, that was my crowning moment. That was my moment.
That was your moment. Vandalization of property.
Yes.
Alright, just Arzul taking the first watch then? And remember guys, you're free to converse with each other.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I already got ready, so I can take the first watch. I'm not gonna take watch on my onesie. Put it.
It's got the butt flap hanging open though.
Oh yeah, you gotta air out the butt flap.
Well, I'm just making sure Pufflesworth is happy and content.
Roll animal
He's the
handling.
important one. Oh, I actually did something, so now I actually have animal handling.
Oh
Yep.
my
A novel
god, she
concept.
did it.
Yep, instead of being wise, she decided to get
What a
prodigy.
ways. What a ways. It's paying off already.
That's terrific. I love that.
We're the worst.
Oh, look at
Oh,
that.
hey! Now my failures are an 8. So that is better.
Beautiful.
Pufflesworth is
I can
fairly
make it
content.
fit.
Oh, hang on, that shouldn't have been to GM actually. But yeah, I rolled intelligence for Pufflesworth and it was also an 8. But he's at -5.
Bum, 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 bum.
So yeah, he's pretty content. He's just
Oh,
sort
good.
He's throwing his weight against you a lot and just sort of cuddling up as best he can, pawing and generally. I mean, it's
Aw.
cute, but he's a fucking bear on that side of the body, so, you know, it's still kind of dangerous. He does
I'm
feel
okay.
heavier, though. He does feel like he's gotten a bit more dense.
Well, yeah, we have been feeding him.
Presumably.
It's just so dense.
I have.
So dense.
So full of everything. Every shot. Alright, so just Zarzul on first watch there?
Unless anybody else is going, I'm sure.
I asked quickly who's up second, so I have to wait the whole party to find out.
I'll be the last one.
Okay, that's not an answer to his question.
I'll join on the first watch because I can look over the weapon then, and we can both share smoke.
That's good, then.
I'll go second, even though I won't be able to see a bloody thing.
I mean, you could if you took the hood off him. It's not really any use to
I
him
need
right
to get
now in the
turned.
darkness.
And we don't actually know that's actually a feature yet.
Well, you haven't tried.
All I know is it protects me from daylight.
But it's not daylight.
I wish I had something to protect daylight.
It's called a hat.
Or a boar head.
I mean, yeah. I think
You
work would
do that.
frown upon me wearing a boar head.
Got a hat that produces critters, if I remember rightly.
Mm-hmm. He does have a bowler hat.
Yeah. They don't really have a visor, though.
Alright then. There we go. Get a little light in. You guys are down in the bottom middle.
Ah, there we are. I found us.
I share off a piece of my large brick of pipeweed.
It's very flavorful. Very fragrant. Very soothing in a way. Wolfgang not as impressed with it. Now and again the paw goes over the nose. And give me a perception check as you march about. Is there any lit fire? Or are you guys just bundling up?
I'm guessing we're
Right.
just bundling up.
Yeah.
It's also a question of what's the sort of sleeping arrangement here. We got the wagon, and I think you did buy a tent or two.
I vote that Mr. Pufflesworth and I stay in the wagon because if we end up in the tent, it's likely to end up in pieces.
Likely, not mandatory.
I
I'm
am a
in one.
very wise woman.
Cornelius is in one of the tents.
So is Droop in that same tent.
Hmm.
Let's see. Let's shift you guys about a little bit. You know, not for any particular reason. You know, just separating you out.
That's a horrible statement.
What? I'm just splitting the party.
It's not like we
Nothing
wouldn't do it
bad.
ourselves.
I was gonna say we do that all the time.
What about
It's like a
Castalia,
national
Malgarn, and
pastime in
Siegfried?
this group.
Tents, bedrolls, or wagon?
Uh,
There's not a whole lot
Bedroll.
of space in the wagon right now because there is the big
Bedroll.
fucking flail snail shell.
we're gonna do something with someday, right?
Likely on the second watch, and I'll be in a bedroll.
I'll end up in a bedroll under the cart probably again.
Mm.
And we got the pig boy over here. Alright, give me a perception check for Zarzul. With advantage since you've got Wolfgang with you. Yeah, as you're sitting back there, just enjoying a little puff or two.
Of course.
Don't need the roll just yet.
Oh,
As you're just
sorry.
enjoying a puff, just savoring things.
You got excited.
Wolfgang does perk his head up for a moment and looks over to, well, to your right, but to the west. Yeah, to the west.
Okay.
He seems alert. And then
Okay.
gradually you can hear noises. Heavy, sort of shuffling, plodding. It's definitely on 4 legs. You're familiar with creatures do have that now and again.
Yeah. Can I get an idea of how big this thing is?
Roll me a survival because I've had enough of just the fun of nat ones on your nature. You get a vague idea. It's definitely bigger than you, like many of the things in the wild. It does sound fairly large. As it's just shuffling along, but it's very weighty. Like every footfall is very heavy. Then you can hear scrabbling as it gets to that stone nearby. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 6. Okay, you'd actually be able to see it by now, so... You can see a big, bloody brown bear. As it's just sort of meandering along.
I try and communicate with it.
Are you able to do that naturally, or do you have to cast a spell?
It's a natural one.
Hmm.
I'd have to look it up again, but it's something along the lines. I get a basic idea of its wants and needs and how basic ideas, I think, from memory.
So how do you approach it?
Carefully.
Hello, friend.
Hello!
I'm just trying to figure out if comprehend language lets me speak bear.
That has to be an actual language. Since it doesn't actually have a language, you can only pick up on sort of the basic things, just like the ranger here. And yeah, it's scrabbling up. It's. I just gotta double check here. Actually, I can't remember if they even have dark vision. He might not even see you. Brown bear. Because for all I know, they've just got a good nose.
Yeah, just good nose.
Yep.
Follow
So
your nose wherever.
when you
it
speak
goes.
up, it does start to sniff the air. You're not trying to hide your presence at all, are you?
Not really. You don't want to surprise a big bear,
Yep.
especially if you want to get off on a good foot, as it were.
It does start sniffing. You can pick up that, at first it was just sort of tired. Now it's kind of curious. It doesn't seem aggressive yet. As it starts to bound itself down the stone. Again, it's very heavy. As it just starts to pad forward. Sniffing at the air. It seems to have a general idea of where you are. As it just starts to approach. And yeah, it's just...
Hello, big friend.
And then it just draws up right to you. For it, I mean, you could see it approaching the whole way, but for it, it's just snuffled along, and then this little dragon thing has just sort of appeared near it. And with a thud that almost wakes the dwarf, but not quite, it settles back on its arse and just looks down at you. The head tilting. Again, it's just curious.
Hello, big one. Hello, big one. Any interesting things around at the moment? Of course, it probably won't understand the word I'm saying, but never mind.
Well, I mean, it does see your questioning, and you do have a basic communication grasp of it. As it just sort of looks around, you just sort of get that impression of, like, there's food. Obviously, it's a big, big bear. Also, Wolfgang does scoot behind Zarzul. Because it's a smart dog. It's just sitting there. Yeah, it does seem to convey that there's food everywhere. That's a good thing. That's interesting. Found a hive once,
This is good.
and there's just this resounding
big
sort
one.
of.
You can share bee stories.
You could. It might come off as the stronger contender there. And then it starts sniffing again, and it turns away from you and pads up to the pig's head in a blanket. As it starts to sniff at where the dwarf is and his headgear right beside him.
What did I miss? Because the cat got out.
The large brown bear is currently investigating a pig's head in a blanket.
Oh, okay then.
You're still asleep. It hasn't actually clouded or anything. It was just this
Yeah.
big
Eh,
snuffling bear nose.
I communicate to the bear that it's probably not a best idea to annoy that thing. That's small, stubby, and angry.
He gives another big, deep inhale and just sort of turns his head away. And pads back. It seems to be okay with that there. It's just... Again, you're just getting this sense of just, it's very tired. Just a general weariness.
I communicate it may be a good idea to move a little way. The rest of my pack, as it were, may not understand it quite so well.
It doesn't quite understand, but it does start to push its nose against you for a moment, and then down into your pack. Where presumably your rations are held.
I share a ration with it.
As you're reaching out, its paw does come down and starts to pull on the bag and nearly plummet, pull you to the floor. As this massive paw catches on the cloth.
A hungry one. Yep, I handed over a ration.
It just, in one mouthful, it's all scooped up and it's just mashing its jaws wildly. There's bits flying out everywhere. It's got about the same table manners as the dwarf.
Hunting hasn't been well, friend, has it?
Seems happy enough.
Okay.
Best you can get. It's just, yeah. It's large.
Large and possibly in charge. Excellent.
And again, it's just that feeling of tiredness. And then you're realizing, yeah, it's autumn. Hibernation for these guys eventually. Gotta bulk up. Well then, maybe
Yep.
you don't know. Roll me nature.
Oh dear, here
Yeah,
we
he's
go
good at that.
again.
Oh, best ranger ever.
As you're well versed in, bears of course have to fly, and to do that they need to store up a lot of calories before they take flight each morning. No, but you've just got the idea of it, yeah.
Explains it.
No, you just got the idea of it, yeah, winter is coming, and you guess it's just trying to store up as much as it can. Luckily, it's been agreeable instead of just going for your party, but maybe it's just because it's feeling a bit drowsy and dopey.
A motion that can sleep over by the rock if it wishes.
It glances over at the rock and just sort of... just glances again around in the darkness and just starts to shuffle north, directly. Mulgurn? Roll me a strength check. All of the air is forced out of your chest for a second before you start to tense up, and then you realize there's a full fucking bear standing on you for a moment. And then it keeps moving. And then just shuffles
going.
past. For a moment it stops to look over at the tents on either side of it, and then just sort of shrugs and keeps moving on into the forest. You managed to avoid any damage, but it takes a moment to get all the breath back in your lungs and just realize, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
As for a moment, all your vision was filled with brown hair and a very large set of bare testicles.
That's an experience I don't want to go through again. I'm okay. We're just gonna take a deep breath and pretend that never happened. Right?
Weird dream.
Yeah, it's all a dream. Yeah. Right?
You're just sitting too close to the
Yep.
kobold and his pipe smoke, of course.
Yeah, it has stranger pics sometimes.
It's all delusion. Apart from that little bit, you do hear the occasional scuffings of wild animals and whatnot, but yeah, everything seems fine as your watch comes to a close.
Okay. I go over and wake up Siegfried, I believe was second.
Oh, it's Castalia actually, but I think Siegfried also volunteered.
Yep.
So a pair of them can sit
Yep. Okay, I poke the Siegfried.
in the ankle directly.
Yep.
Ah! oh, 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 oh! It's only a kobold. It's not anything else. I'm good.
Don't worry, the bear already left.
It's just a kobold and nothing else.
Siegfried, roll me a wisdom save.
Oh dear. These are never good.
It was actually an okay time. I mean, there were still a few memories of pretending to live in the gutters and then getting a little too involved in it, but that was an okay dream. There was a very large potato at one point, but didn't have teeth or anything, so that's nice.
Been a good night so far.
Good change.
Okay, I'm gonna crawl up underneath the cart and get some sleep.
So he's not going to wake up Castalia.
If Siegfried wants to wake up Castalia, he can.
His business.
No. Can't let everybody sleep, seeing as we kind of need our rest, and I'm trying to keep my weight off my ankle and probably sitting down next to something and just leaning up against it and just listening to the sounds around to see if I can hear anything that's actually a problem. Opposed to lighting my lantern and broadcasting to the rest of the area that's where we are.
It's like he does this intentionally.
He just wants to die.
Yeah, well, then give me a perception check. As you're just sitting in, taking the splendors of scary, dark nature, with nothing but the
sound
glow of a
an angry
lantern.
cat.
And it's hard to tell, honestly. You're straining your eyes against the darkness, you're keeping that lantern close, now and again the rattling of it with your nerves. It's hard to make out anything. I mean, every single scuffle could be some huge beast wanting to devour you. Any moment now, you could see in the distance those arrows sailing through the air from the knolls have regrouped. Or maybe it could be the shuffling of the undead. Some of them are quiet enough. They could all be out there right now.
I want to kill Siegfried.
There's
Paranoia is kicking in.
Yep. As every single minute ticks past, you're realizing you're the only one up here. They could just grab you, push you to the floor, slit your throat, and then they just have merry with the rest of them. I mean, that seems like a reasonable thing. Or maybe it could just come from above. There's a lot of flying creatures. Could be a very angry goose for all you know. They can take someone's eye out if they peck just right. You've heard about it.
Does he smell beer?
He does, but he's standing next to the dwarf, so it's not surprising. And I mean, there is that cask still in the back of the wagon.
No.
Oh, that's right, you sold that all. You gave that away, yeah. Could have sworn the dwarf got a cake as well. Oh well. But then your watch passes, and despite everything you might have thought, and everything that is obviously in the wild wanting to kill you, nothing did tonight. A reprieve.
Yay!
Now it's back to the dreams. It's back to remembering what happened before.
I'm going to wake Castalia up and say, hey, your turn now.
Alright.
We're getting a method actor here.
Hey, all the power to her, man.
As he shuffles away and slowly closes his lantern, you are not impeded by the darkness. And you step out there. So, give me a perception check. And what do you entertain yourself with?
Studying the weapon, of course. Like I said it would.
Ah,
It's
but you
time
gotta
to
tell
roll
the rest of
roll.
the table.
I did.
So you're studying Sodden Lash?
Yep.
As you're eyeing over it, again, there's that trail of smoke rising up from your tobacco pouch. And then quietly in your head, very strange.
But
I work
at least
in
we know the
ore.
story for this one.
A lovely one. Very good tinge of tragedy. The Queen would love it. But still strange. I work in ores and stone. Where I come from, grass is not such a material you could use for much of anything. Fascinating. Possibly beyond my ability, but little practice. As for you, apprentice, I think it's time to bestow a little gift. When you work the forge, sometimes extra hands are needed. In your case, you can make extra hands. Those you fell will rise in servitude. Clumsy and mindless, but enough to swing a hammer or keep a bellows going.
Of course.
They'll be kept in pain and torment as they learn their lesson not to stand against us. But then you release them and they go on to whatever ill fate they deserved. I have quite a few working right now. Next time you get to a forge, we might make something. I might show you a little technique, but you'll need the gauntlets of that little dragon thing. So keep that in mind. As for this, it's interesting. Yes, I quite like it. For something that seems elven-made, it's actually pleasant. Not at all something for this land, though.
Well, I shall keep your orders in mind. Prepared to craft what you need of.
Very good. I look forward to more trinkets and curiosities next time, apprentice. So do stay alive for me.
Of course.
And then the wisp of smoke just starts to gray out and then fade away. As for your surroundings, I mean, you did stay reasonably alert while the conversation was going. As you did feel that little surge of power, starting from the tingling in your shoulder, Mark. And yeah, nothing seemed to return. Nothing seemed to step into view. Not even any trundled along the road itself. And your watch comes to a close. It's up to you if you attune to whip or not.
Yeah.
But even as you help, as the effects do take hold, it's the same sort of thing as rain. With you, it's a little different though, just because of the demonic qualities, well, devilish qualities. You do see out of a corner of your eye there's a patch of green moss spreading along the tip of your left horn. But again, like with rain, you can just wipe it free. It has no rooting. It has no anchorage in you. The rest of your form is sodden and soaking. Every bit of material clings. And to touch yourself is very strange. You, as a tiefling, you've always had this inner core of infernal heat. But now that you press fingers against an arm, or hand against hand, it's cold. You don't feel cold on the inside, but to touch, the surface of you feels cold and wet. And as you're sitting there on the grass or pacing about, you are noticing that there's little flecks of mud now and again starting to spread in your footsteps. But yes, your watch is to a close, and you are now attuned to Sodden Lash.
Wonderful.
So, who's for the last watch?
That's me. So, what do you want me to do?
You are miles away, or possibly just through Bradier's mic.
Whoops.
Alright, so now I fixed that. Yeah,
Yep.
it's my watch, I think.
Yep. So as Castalia wakes you, you open your eyes to see... Did she go swimming? Did she jump into a lake recently?
Oh, you did the thing.
Well, yes, we did promise to make it bloom.
Yeah. I was gonna try to give that another go in the morning, but yeah, okay, you can do that.
So
Because
much...
it's now tuned, I pulled it up and let it vanish to move on to the nether realm.
Mm-hmm. You just give it one little quick flip, and as it's moving through the air, it's slowly breaking apart into black smoke before you're holding just nothing. It's just a wisp in the air. The effects, however, still remain.
I'm going to finish my rest. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Okay, you too.
As she squishes away.
I love the sound effects.
And so, Rain, you settle in for your watch. Give me a perception.
I have a Puffles.
Yep,
I
with
have a
Pufflesworth.
Pufflesworth.
He's a little bit grumpy to be woken up like this, but meh. Just sort of sits there and bristles for a bit. No, perception, not persuasion.
Oops.
You're not going to convince your way out of this.
There we go. The right button. There we go.
Settle down. You do notice now and again that Pufflesworth is trying to chew and claw at the wood of a wagon. Nothing dedicated or intentional, just sort of, it's a little bored.
Alright, I'm gonna...
Hmm?
Mhm.
Oh, never mind. You can still hear the sounds of nature. Sun is slowly coming up, but very slowly. It's not until near the end of your watch that you can see a glimmer of any kind of light.
Well, in that case, I'm just going to relax with Mr. Pufflesworth and keep an eye on things and make sure nothing catches on fire.
Mm-hmm.
As
Which,
it is
considering you're the
going
only
to.
one awake, it has a good chance of happening.
Yes.
But yeah, as it continues, the hours go by, and seems like everything survived. Go you.
Holy bananas.
You and Pufflesworth managed to defend the night.
It's because of Pufflesworth.
Actually, let me double check there. Does the whip have a +1 on it? Yep, it is a +1 as well. There we go. So yeah, morning has arisen. You now find yourselves not too strange a situation, not too strange an environment from where you were before. You can see back down the road, you can, in the glimmering sunlight, the arches. You can also see that the road behind you is quite damp and it's starting to encroach as the rain is beginning to pick up. Ahead of you, further down the road, you can see more of the same stretch of mountainous hills on the left and more thickened forest on the right. Although there seems to be a few breaks and a few thinnings of the trunks, but it just seems like more general wilderness if it's only been pushed through the once. And of course, you all notice that you have a very soggy tiefling among you.
How's Mr. Pufflesworth taking to the smell of a beer wandering through the camp?
I mean, he doesn't really know what a bear is. He's part one, but he's never really met one. Seems like something you should fight, but that's everything he smells.
Well, since I have added to my repertoire finally identify, I was curious as to take a look at the whip.
Did you also buy the pearl?
No. Is that a requirement, I guess?
Yeah, it does have a material requirement that costs money, so...
Okay. Well,
If-
no. Then never mind.
If you want, we can say that you did purchase it in town, because you guys did talk about doing that for Droop. So if you trim
Nah,
100...
I don't... Nah, it's fine. I should have read.
No, I'm just saying if you want to, you can trim 100 gold out of the treasury now.
Nah.
So yeah, Cornelius wakes up, realizes I can identify that, and then you realize as you look down your notes, oh. Better not say this out loud. Droop also awakens. There's just this... Sometimes you see a mark, sometimes you see a splash. This is just a flood of drool on his pillow. But it's gone in an instant as he wakes up. One ear is still bent inwards. Nose a little crooked looking. Pufflesworth is flat. His fur is flattened on one side. The morning is yours.
I have spells.
You do?
Oh, go boil your head.
Probably should get moving so we might actually get to wherever he's supposed to be in a somewhat good time.
Maybe.
Should we try to put more healing spells in the ring of healing spells and other things?
Still has one space left.
No, I thought we used them all.
Oh yeah, that's right, you did, yeah. With
Don't look at me.
Misty
I don't have any
Step.
spells.
No, I'll leave it with what it's got at the moment. If we still have spells by the time we have another long rest, we might look at switching things in and out.
Good plan.
And perhaps fixing up some breakfast before heading out.
Wait, you mean you actually eat?
All right, I'll get the owlbear. Someone start the fire.
Oh, don't make me smack you. I have my spells back, I'll have you know.
I mean, if it was good enough for that other cap, it would be good enough for me.
I mentioned that north mightn't be the best way to go searching for food at the moment.
I mean, far be it for me to question the ranger that's good at everything but nature.
You also do vaguely recall all that weight and pressure.
Do we have some meat?
You do have... I mean, Zarzul's been doing a good job of foraging in general.
And do we have a fresh source of water?
There's
I mean,
a little
If we
bit.
got a
Possibly,
clean
yes.
cloth, we could put it on you, and we could probably get some water that way.
It'd be swamp water.
I mean, you don't smell apart from just being damp.
Can I wring out my clothes into the? No.
Oh,
No.
Thank you. No.
No.
You
I
can.
caught myself as it was partway through. I was gonna say we can make a nice soup, but no, not if the water's coming.
No, you're not making a soup. You're just stewing in your own juices.
Tiefling stew.
Well, it's the reason why I suggested.
Oh, you cut out there?
It's the reason why I suggested the pot, so we can make meals and such.
Yeah. I mean, you could always try to wring out the water.
No. I think everyone has pretty much put their stamp of no on that.
I mean, it'll bring you closer together as a team.
I think we can get going now. I think I lost my appetite.
And so, once again, you set off down the road. I mean, Zarzul, anytime you can hop off and do a little foraging as well.
Yeah, I think I might do that.
Same
So-
thing with the rest of you, he's just better at it. But then it's also his decision-making skills.
Yeah. Also, I don't think I slow us down if I do actually check around.
Not at walking pace, but when riding, we gotta slow a little bit. I don't think you're an advantage for that.
No, probably not.
As you hop off for a bit, the pace slows a little bit because you can't keep up with a horse, really. As you start to forage ahead, and you head down south into the trees a bit because more plentiful creature there. You manage to get a couple of small voles and a grouse, and then as you keep stepping a little bit further, a little bit of caution to the wind just to see if you can get something a bit nicer, a bit juicier. Like that boar. You got boar in your head now, thanks to Malgern's hat. You come upon a nice little small natural reservoir, ringed in stone and just sort of clearish water. It gets a bit muddy as you look down to the depths. It's up to you what you do here.
Does it look... So it's a little reservoir of water we're dealing with.
Well, not small. I mean, it's about, it'd take you a little walk around. So I would say a diameter of about 20 feet or so.
Okay.
Roughly circular.
I check around. Is anything looking suspicious about this dam?
Give me a little perception check.
Just a little one.
As you glance around, you don't see anything. You don't see any marker stones, any cairns, any kind of, sort of druidic symbols or whatnot. It just seems like a strange bit of terrain. A jostling about in the head.
Okay.
Maybe it's some sort of underground water source that's seeping up. It's like a well that just rose a bit higher.
Okay.
And as you look down, you can see that there are several fish in it, mostly small little minnows. And a few
Okay,
other
so
small
there's actually
freshwater.
life in it.
Yeah, there's life in it.
Yep.
And there's life around it as you look around. There's plenty of plant life. There's plenty of just general noises of animals moving. And a few croaks of toads.
I'll head back to the party and let them know I found water if we need to grab some.
As you're walking back, though, you do trod on something and your feet feel damp. The grass is starting to shift a little bit between your toes.
Oh dear, I found swamp. That makes sense, yes.
Oh no, as you scuffle, I mean, what do you do immediately?
I'm gonna take a step back and examine the ground.
As you do, the ground starts to rise up. It looked like a small little sort of clump of grass, hillock kind of thing. But it starts to rise up, and the grass shifting away, and you can see a very large toad, as in much bigger than you are.
Okay.
And it just sits there for a moment. You almost
I'm
get
gonna
smacked
try
in the
and
face by its
communicate
throat
with it.
sac bulging out for a moment.
Oh, he's gonna try to communicate with it.
You gonna try and communicate?
Yeah. Yeah, to start with.
Well, what are you trying to convey to it?
Generally, I'm not a threat, and I'm not food. Let's start with that. And what's asking it what's sort of around going on around the area? Maybe.
Give me a persuasion check. It's convinced that you're not a threat.
That was a given.
What I put him in? And I mean, he's willing to answer a few things, but then he's also just generally hungry. And his eyes just rove from you to the wolf, and then he tries to bite. As he just lurches forward, and then, with sort of an unwieldy sort of speed to him, he just tries to bite down on Wolfgang. Because he's convinced you're not food. He did a good job of that.
Oh dear.
And let's see, a little short bit of initiative. Just for V3. Let me just feel and actually put you on the right map for this. Or I haven't field. Okay. There we go. Boy, back to the monster manual. Why'd I bother closing it? D20 plus 1. Oof. Well, at least the gods bite him.
Mr. Bubblesworth is angry.
Oh, Mr. Pufflesworth is angry. Hold up.
An AC of... There we go. Okay, I'll remove Vizarzul at 18 and take the one at 23. There we go. But yeah, that was its first hit. So that's
damage.
that's 3 piercing and 7 poison, and Wolfgang is currently grappled. As the giant toad just picks him up in his mouth. There's no teeth, but there's a lot of pressure right now.
Oh dear.
Alright. Zarzul, your turn is up. Again, it's not... It's just considering the wolf food, it's not even looking at you. As far as it's concerned, you're okay. It's giving that vibe, but yeah, you're just fine. It's not going to share.
Can I
though.
persuade? Can I persuade it that that's not food either?
You may try.
Wrong one.
It's gotten a bit of a... Well, not really even. It weighs it up in its head for a moment. It's just sort of very slow blinking as this slightly flailing wolf is in its mouth. The legs are kind of already gone down the throat, but just thinks for a moment very slowly. And then just sets Wolfgang down. And then just sits back. It does do that toad thing, though, where it disengorges its stomach and starts to rub at it. And peel away the hairs.
Okay. This is better.
It's still just sitting there staring at you. Well, sort of at
Yeah.
you. Now and again it looks away and just sort of sits in place.
Okay. As a bonus action, I try and communicate that we're leaving now. And
Well, it's not even really
Don't
like a
follow.
turn or anything. Yeah, you can convince it's leaving. It just seems
Yeah.
it seems a little annoyed to be awake, but doesn't bother chasing.
excellent. Time to leave.
I mean, you're thinking deep down maybe Toad could have been tasty.
Unfortunately, it probably thought I was tasty.
I definitely thought Wolfgang was for a moment, but then you convinced it otherwise. But on your way back, you do manage to get... I mean, actually, we forgot to roll that. Roll survival for Wolfgang, because he's chipping in as well.
Survival and
That'll be just wisdom.
wisdom.
Yeah. Whereas you were focusing on the birds again for some reason. You did manage to get a grouse and all. He managed to catch up a couple of rabbits and a hedgehog as well. That one he's just sort of pushing along with his paw.
Okay.
But that's enough for a meal or two.
Yep, would be an interesting lesson of for Pufflesworth how to deal with hedgehog.
And you return to the camp. Wolfgang a little less assured in its step. And you can still see the imprint in the fur of where the wet, slimy maw sort of clamped down.
Has the wolf also been holding the whip now?
No, we found the big thing that wanted to eat Wolf. I convinced it otherwise.
Oh.
You guys have such in-depth talks.
Big toad thing.
Ah.
Meanwhile, Castelli, you notice that the moss on your horn is long gone, and you can just see it spreading along your forearm for a bit.
I brush it aside.
Yeah, it's gone. There's no mark or anything afterwards. And so you just continue?
Mm-hmm.
For the rest of the day, there doesn't seem to be much that's actually going on. Now and again, you can hear... There's the occasional roars of beasts. There is one powerfully loud one around 7 o'clock or so, just when night's drawing in. It's loud, but it's distant at least. Anyone proficient in sort of nature and whatnot could give me a roll to see if I can identify.
No, I'm not proficient in nature.
I'd still give you a go for it. Just for my own personal amusement.
Yeah,
I am convinced that Roll20 is rigged.
I got 4 in nature.
Yeah, go for it. Rena, as far as you can tell, it does sound like a large cat. Cornelius, you can tell it sounds larger than most big cats. You've seen a few, like, privately owned among the nobles and whatnot. This sounds very big. But luckily far away.
Do I think it's a dog?
You're not sure what it is. It just sounds like a lot of noise from all the reverberation. You're more used to echoes from a cave. You're not too used to just sound billowing out into the sky.
My
You're not
word,
entirely
I've
sure.
not heard a growl since the Partington's estate party. And when it turns out that the reinforcements of the bar wasn't enough, then the rest of the population in the area also heard it.
And the roar was just from his wife. You know, not instead of a pet.
Oh, Droop.
What?
Give him credit for trying.
Don't
Oh,
encourage
he'll-
him. Don't encourage him.
It's ever since oddly enough, from the same estate when he heard the owner Panethius. He has just as a dreadful sense of humor. Big fat. Not very oddly enough. He was a big fan of Droop because Droop seemed to appreciate his jokes very much.
Also, I make fun noises with my armpit.
Yes,
thinks.
you're both very excellent at that.
Well, it's important. Ah, never mind. He was fun, though.
In
And
any
then-
case, I do not believe we should get anywhere near whatever made that sound. If it's anywhere near in the same family of that creature, that is not something I wish to be near. Poor city guards.
The life and times of a rich and decadent.
I didn't know Cornelius published an autobiography.
I didn't know Cornelius was decadent.
Oh no, but he
I'm a
just
noble,
knows
of
them.
course, and- yeah.
Also, he's a wizard. Of course he's fucking decadent. And then night draws in further as you continue to trundle until it's nearly pitch black. There's still some glimpses of twilight. You see a bush in the road. In the middle of a road, on the bare dirt.
Okay. This is obviously an odd bush.
I would not be surprised if it was named Ribaldi.
Don't
Right.
be insane. It's called Ribbledy.
I call out, "Hello, friend."
Of course you do. Of course you do.
In Cornelius, you and Drew both hear very loudly the goblin proclamation for shit! And then from the bush leaps a goblin, trembling with a short bow drawn. Your supplies and your money! Leave everything and keep walking!
Friend, I have a question.
What?
How do you intend to carry all our supplies?
You are surrounded by the tribe of Yemek.
Really?
There are
I've never heard
archers
of it
posted
before.
on all these sides, ready to take you down, but we don't want bloodshed, we just want what you own.
Okay, we'll come over and deliver it to you.
Wait, no, stay back. I know your tricksy ways.
Oh?
Just leave
What
everything.
are they?
Just hop out of the carriage and keep walking.
Can I ask another question?
Get on with it.
Why don't you have an arrow notched?
I mean, he does. I did say he has a
That's
short
a
bow
good-
drawn.
Okay, I didn't say it was notched, but
Well, I mean, he wouldn't bother pulling it out unless he had an arrow in it. He's not that incompetent.
I'm not too sure on that. But this,
Droop, do
I
you
was
wish-
supposed to call. Yeah. I was supposed to Cornelius. Can we just put him to sleep?
Droop, would you handle this?
Oh, all right. I'll do it. He starts snapping his fingers. There's also like a twinge of pain in his face as he prepares to cast his spell. And so he
Well,
casts.
just get the stuff out.
Hoity-toity, and Padoom! Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not right.
Oh no!
As in the 20-foot radius materializes, somewhat confused, but mainly just chewing the grass. 5 sheep.
Do I need to update my list for the spells that are in that ring because Droop casts?
Yes, you do.
And at this point, I shout, "Now you are the one who are surrounded, I believe."
Oh god! Please don't kill me! Please don't kill me!
Just put down your bow and take a step back.
What kind of magic is this? As
Terrible
the sheep
magic.
are just gradually just chewing on the ground, not really giving a shit because they're sheep.
Yep.
Okay, okay, okay. Don't kill me, 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 don't kill me. So,
Didn't kill
half
the
of those
last
are actually in
goblin.
common.
We didn't kill the last goblin. We've still got him with us.
Actually, you killed a lot of goblins after I joined.
Hey, I don't know that.
Droop knows, Droop saw it all. He just lays his short bow down and then his head on the floor, hands behind his back. The sheep continued to mill around.
Well, good job, Droop.
Let's.
Yeah.
I ask. By the way, where is the rest of your clan?
I gave the signal for them to run.
Oh,
More
most
likely,
excellent.
more likely they were never here to begin with.
How'd you know?
I'm psychic.
Trixie
We know
Hills.
all. Yeah, quick question.
Always with
Yeah,
the questions.
what's the land? What's the lay of the land around here?
I mean, you're on it. It's flat. It's grassy.
Any idea how far to the next town?
No.
That's not a good answer.
What's the,
Is it your
what?
only answer?
You said, how close is town? There's no town.
Okay.
Can I go
I
now?
believe we have got. Scurry along, little one. We need to get moving.
Malgern, Siegfried, and Cornelius, give me an intelligence roll.
Intelligence. I'm really good at that.
Can I ask how long those sheep last for?
They
I
last
don't think it's an
for...
intelligence save. It's just a regular intelligence roll.
It doesn't matter for him, it's the same modifier. Malgern, Siegfried... The name did sound familiar. Yimmick.
It did. I mean, out of character as well. I was like, I feel like
Yeah.
Yeah,
I heard that.
out of
before.
character, I know that one.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds familiar.
Siegfried
What
especially
did you say?
trails
Yimmick?
back to a bloody dagger held against Sildar's throat. Way back in Cragmaw Cavern.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Also, as the spell runs out of duration, the sheep disperse, and the goblin screams as he is covered in the innards and outards of dispersed sheep.
Oh dear.
That's not what the spell says it's going to do.
Well, it's true.
This isn't the correct version of it yet.
Well,
He
it
just
was
starts to scream
terrifying.
and sob for a moment.
Drew, do you actually recognise this guy?
Let me check. He just starts to scrabble over you all and hops down from the wagon. He does use prestidigitate, but only on the face of the goblin. The goblin's looking at him. What the fuck are you? Nope, never seen him before. Looks like a goblin.
Yeah, we
Thank
got
you.
that
We had
much.
no idea.
Oh, well, shall we get moving?
I don't see why we're staying here.
I will say, Siegfried Malgern, you do recognize this is not Yemmick. The name was familiar, but this doesn't look like that goblin. You got a pretty clear view
Okay.
of him.
I have one question, though.
Related to what I just said.
No, not a completely different thing. When you said the ship exploded, does that mean that there's some ribs that we could grab for dinner?
They will fade away after a minute or so.
Okay. In that case, we just keep moving and just ignore the goblin as we go past him.
He just seems sort of distant-eyed and sort of twitchy for a moment.
His friends will never believe this.
I call it back to him. You might want to find somewhere to wash that off. There was a bear around earlier. It looked hungry.
Who the fuck are you people? This was just meant to be a simple heist. I take the stuff, I come back to the tribe. Yay, I'm a hero.
Life sometimes just doesn't work out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try again with a much weaker party.
Yeah,
Why?
that's a good idea. Yeah. Just starts to kick
Maybe
stones.
trading would be more your thing.
He just starts to kick at some stones in the road. For a moment, he's very despondent.
Are we moving on, or do you still want to have a chit chat with the goblin? You want us to perhaps invite him for having dinner?
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Look, your Albie is
I
hungry again.
I just scowl over at Rain.
Oh, you are a horrible host.
Wait a minute. You do things for money, yeah? As he starts to chase after behind you.
Yeah, possibly. What's up?
I'm not supposed to say, but
Be general, like it's whatever is happening to some other clan. What's up with
our
the other
boss might need adventurers, maybe? Things went kinda bad, and that's why I was stuck alone, and this should have been the big moment when I get to be a hero, and it didn't. Oh, fuck.
What was it?
Gesundheit.
Ouch.
What sort of went bad?
As he looks across at Droop for a moment. There's a Bargist around here, and Droop just whitens. Ears drop, the eyes widen, and he just scrapes himself back against the standing with Cornelius.
Okay, do I know what a Bargist is? Maybe.
I'm trying to think if he'd have any goblin in his sort of history.
Probably not. He doesn't know Goblin.
Yeah.
From all my random reading, would I have any chance of knowing what the heck that is?
Roll me an intelligence check. Luckily it did come up. It was just an old little kid's folklore book that you sort of, used to relax after too much study. A Bargist is a creature it's kind of like the boogeymen for goblins. It snatches them up, devours them, and sends their soul into the pits of hell.
Oh!
As far as you know, it shapeshifts. It's able to take on the appearance of a goblin, or its true form, which is a large four-legged beast.
Well, that would explain why it'd be mildly terrifying.
Yeah, and as said, they will eat 13 goblins apiece, and their souls are forever damned to be the plaything of demons.
Oh, I can see why they don't want that.
Oh, right. I remember starting that's so.
Okay. And what sort of payment were you offering for possibly dealing with this possible problem?
His own eyes just go wide for a moment. It's just, what?
You mentioned gold earlier.
Did I? I mean, money? Maybe?
Many items. What sort of things you got on hand? Or even information may be of use.
I have tons of information for use. You can have my bow, I guess.
I turn to
He
Droop.
just sort of steps back from one. You just notice, he's in leather armor. He's got a little bow, and that's it. And he just goes, "Ta-da! It's the package."
Is he doing the whole Zelda thing, holding it above his head? And
No, he's just got his
Reference or
hands out and
something.
doing little jazz hands. Ta-da! But looking very unsure about himself as he stands there.
I turn to Droop and ask, what's the possibility of this thing attacking other people?
First off, we're goblins. We are humanoid. We're not
Do kind of people.
things.
So, hi, I'm guessing.
Well, I'm just saying we're not things. Yeah, I mean, we have to survive, so, well, he has to survive. I got a home now. Hey. I mean, we don't like to do things alone.
Yeah, but they sent this one out alone, which is interesting.
Yeah, he probably will attack people.
Okay. I turn to the other goblin and ask, which area or direction is this Barghast in?
See, well, there's a thing about that. You see, he only really told the boss as like a challenge, and then I usually just muck out the wolves, and I didn't hear a lot between shoveling shit.
The Barghast challenged your leader?
Kind of. I think. I kind of heard it on 4th, 5th, and 6th account from my cousins and the uncle.
This, look, Droop, is this regular behavior for a Barghast?
I have no idea whatsoever. I've thankfully never met one.
Okay. I look at Rain. Does your books mention anything about this?
As
About
far as
the-
you know,
the-
from that role, I mean, you know a few things. Mainly, that we didn't really focus on the goblin side of things, apart from they killed nasty goblins, which is good. But also, if a Barghast eats your body, your soul is destroyed.
Well, if this creature eats you, your soul goes bye-bye.
Doesn't sound like a good thing.
No. I rather think that might be something we might want to, remove. Just saying.
Yeah, you could
Yeah,
take it
possibly
out.
deal with.
You could kill it,
Yeah.
and everyone wins.
Yep, and payment you mentioned.
That I'm sure the boss will agree with you on. Because I'm
How-
just an ambusher.
How big is your tribe?
Smaller now. I don't think I should actually say, because you look like the type who get hired to kill goblins.
I haven't yet.
I mean, you're basically one as well. You're just a scaly goblin.
I'll have you know I'm born of a proud lineage.
Of runty dragons.
Possibly, but dragons nonetheless.
Yeah, where's your wings? You gonna breathe fire
Like a
on me,
wolf.
dragon boy?
It is just if your tribe is big enough and spread in the forest, then we might be able to work on that as a deal instead of something material.
It's a big tribe with a really impressive leader.
So small with a runty guy.
No, how dare you? That's a great insult to his great Yimmick.
Okay. What's your leader? What is he like?
He's really clever, and he's got this massive weapon, and he's powerful, and he's been leading us for a good time. There was like 6 of us for a while, and now we're a powerful tribe that's in a rough patch right now.
Oh, what happened besides the Barghest?
No, that's what happened, the Barghest.
How many of your tribe has it eaten?
None.
Oh? Sounds like your tribe is doing well then.
It's more complicated, because we don't want to get eaten by a Barghest, because that's the worst thing that could happen, so some of us try to convince it we're not worth eating. And a lot of them decided to do that, they'd help it.
Ooh.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Help it do what?
What do you think?
See, Barghest can only eat, and he starts counting out in his fingers for a moment. And once he gets to 10, he then stretches out his toes. Can only eat 13 goblins. So they want to eat really choice prime goblins who are really powerful and smart and clever.
And
Sounds
I'm
like
guessing
you're
your
safe.
boss wasn't willing to become food.
No, not at all. And I mean, we thought the next one in line was Fincut, but then he decided to join the Barghest, so that was just the boss. But I'm staying loyal. Yes, sirree. Most of the tribe didn't.
Huh. I'm going to go and converse with the rest of our group and see what we'll possibly do about that. Stay here for a second. Do we actually want to help this? Do we actually want to help this little guy? Or more
I
point,
could take it or
kill
leave it.
I
do we
think,
want to get rid of the Barghest is the question, really?
I think we do.
If the
That,
tribe-
however, does sound like a good idea.
If the
Yeah,
tribe
we'll
is as big, if the tribe is as big as he says, we can then pass through the forest a little more unmolested, with the tribe not bothering us. This is just one
Yeah.
ambusher. Imagine what happens after they eat them. Then the
Yeah.
whole tribe is loose.
Goblins unleashed.
Yeah. That's what I was picking. Oh, well, at least we've got a guide to point us in the right direction. So, quick question. Are we doing this or not?
And I lower my voice a little bit so that I can hear it, hopefully out of earshot of Droop. And it would be a good thing to show Droop, as a conversation seems to be wearing a little.
Okay. So, we're going to help him? We're going to go kill Barghest and probably a few
This
other
was Tiny
goblins along the
Dragon
way?
Man takes command of the party.
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
walking back and forth on the seat of a wagon so he's at head height for the rest of them.
I think it would be a good idea.
I'm always up for a
Okay.
little bit of fun.
Excellent.
I'm-
I'll
I'm
go and
always
tell
up to
him.
help people.
Goblins
Okay.
are
Yes,
from people.
let's go help the goblin tribe and leave the gnolls behind who are getting slaughtered.
He's not bitter at all.
Okay, good news. We will help you. Bad news. You're going to show us the way.
Ah, shit. No,
Well,
this is good. This will be a good thing, but I will not get in trouble for. Shit. He is visibly shaking.
I won't guarantee the not trouble thing. Yeah.
Right. Well, this bit's gonna sound suspicious, but you have to trust me on it. We need to park your wagon and your horses because there's no road to the lair.
I sort of expected that. Bit of other bad news. We may have to kill part of your tribe to actually get to the Bargist.
Oh, that's fine. They betrayed us.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Just remember, if you betray us, we kill you as well. Just sort of a given, really.
Yeah. That's a given. That was expected. That's.
Don't worry, that's not an expected risk.
Stop reading
I
my
have a small
mind.
question. Do I have 30 feet moving yet?
I mean, nobody's been healing your ankle. It's been 2 days.
Oh well, let me heal.
I
let
mean,
me
you
heal
were
his
taking it
ankle
easy
back.
this time, so yeah, I'd say you're back up to 30.
Excellent.
It's a little tender to the touch, but you can put weight on it.
In other words,
Okay.
be careful with it and it will still keep working. Okay.
Basically, just don't poke it with a stick repeatedly, or a spear, or an arrow, or teeth.
Yeah.
Poke it
Or jump
repeatedly
down a
back.
hole.
Yeah, or jump down a hole. That's a big one.
Yep. And don't have a dwarf land on it. That's generally bad.
I was going to
Yeah,
suggest
okay.
that to heal it.
So what, from the other side, just to bend it back the right way?
Yeah.
That might work. Okay. Are we going to take Droop with us, or leave Droop with the wagon and stuff to guard that, possibly, sort of, maybe?
Probably leave Droop with the wagon.
Well, are you sure having a goblin with us going to do goblin things might actually be useful?
We have a goblin with us to do goblin things.
Yeah, but this one
I,
we
This
can
one
actually
is one we
trust.
can.
I believe we can leave the wagon here. There's not exactly a lot of chances of anything coming and stealing it.
What, like gnolls?
You at least know, even with your bad nature rolls, but gnolls don't care about loot. They just slaughter. They wipe
Okay,
out villages and towns.
Okay. Lead the way, goblin. Let us go forth.
Alright, it's Yarvik, by the way.
Okay, Yarvik, lead the way.
And he starts leading the way. Let me see here. Where did I put this map? Ah, there we go. I love how every time I find where I pasted tokens, Siegfried is injured.
Well, that's a given.
Okay, so change the map. There's a whole lot of point in this, because, hey, everything's fine and dandy, right? What's the worst that could happen?
The thing tries to murder us.
As the party,
We've led into a trap by the goblin.
maybe. As he starts to lead you guys in, this is our grand cave! And our hideout. I want you all to forget this existed, please, or I will probably be killed.
So long as no funny business is had on our side, we had on ours.
I'm just going to say, as a disclaimer, I can't vouch for anyone else whatsoever. So I'm going to run ahead and try to get everyone on board. And the moment he walks up to the stairs, you can see in the cave here, there's loud barks, but then it's also interspersed with more goblins. You hear much gruffer, deeper voices asking where the fuck you been, why haven't you brought anything back? And then there's a lot of making excuses, a lot of pleas. And then, please don't freak the fuck out. I've brought something that might help the boss.
I conjure my whip just in case.
The soggy tiefling
Hello,
conjures a soggy
bud.
whip. And you can see that there are wargs inside here being tended to by one of the goblins.
Oh no.
'Cause yeah, wargs speak. That's a weird thing to find out.
There we
Hello,
go.
friends.
Come along, Drew.
Oh,
The-
no, I get
The
tired.
barking and language just stops as they glare at the kobold. One of them whispering to another in Dwarven, "Fucking look at that shitty little runt. Yeah, and that scrap of fur beside it. Stringy bit of meat."
They speak Dwarvish,
I was
eh?
about to say, that's rude.
They speak Goblin.
But they were saying
just-
talking in Dwarvish.
Yeah, it's a dwarven.
That's why I was confused. I was like, oh,
Did I say that?
Yes.
Yes.
Weird. No, I meant Goblin, sorry about that. As you guys start stepping in, though, you do get the smell of paraffin and oil. Also, ignore the whole rushing water thing here. This is just stone steps. It's just I'm limited in the maps I can find.
No worries.
And as you're looking down the ground, you can see puddles and splashes of. There's a lot of oil here. Just a whole trail of it. And as you're led in, you do see more goblins milling about. They get very tense when they see you guys. But then they also seem very tense at all times. There's not a moment where you're walking in and they sort of demob or anything. And then you're led
up
in.
there, is it?
Yep, this is the throne room in here. As you're led into the throne room. Oh, whoops. Trying to grab you all. There are attendants, there are a few female goblins standing by, and they're all quite armed, but at the head of it, sitting on a large... Well, it was a wooden chair at one point, but it's been festooned with broken shields and plates of metal. You can see standing there, 3 of you recognize him, it's Yemik. His face is... His whole chin and lower jaw are just covered in lines and marks and scratches and cuts. He's
Oh,
wearing a
I
heavy
remember.
suit of metal armor, and in his hand he's got this massive metal maul, just sort of held out to the side. It's way too big for him. What the fuck are these ones doing here? Yarvik!
We heard you may have a problem, and we came
Okay.
possibly lend
okay.
assistance.
Dragon guy, let me smooth this out. I brought them to help. And again, as you guys stand there, it's just reeking of the fumes of oil and paraffin. There's been splashed all around the room.
Oh boy.
yep.
But it's been that way the whole way you've been going in. You three. I remember you. I got away from you lot. It's just this foul, toothed grin.
Glad you did.
And now you've come to help me out, eh?
I guess payment.
We'll see about that. I might just settle the score then. You lot, fuck off. As he just ushers out all his guards and entourage. Well, I'll just move some tokens away. So, Yarvik told you all about the Bargist and lost half my tribe. Yarvik, fuck off too.
Well,
He did say you encountered problems with the split with the tribe, yes.
Right. As he leaps off his chair, starts to stomp towards you lot, still carrying them all now in both hands. And then drops it and throws himself down on his knees. Please, for the love of fuck, help me! This thing is going to eat me and devour my soul and it's going to be delivered into demons, and I don't want that to happen because I've got too much to live for.
We'll see
Don't
what we
worry.
can do.
That's what we're here for.
Strangely, Mulgurn, he seems very convincing.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question. Was can I roll like a? But yeah, I guess he is convincing. Holy crap!
Yeah.
A quick question. If we do this for you, can you offer any sort of payment?
I will give you everything I own, absolutely everything. Just please don't let him eat me. He starts to grab
Sort of-
now at the kobold's clothing and ankles. Just trying to hug his leg.
It's okay. We're gonna help you out. We already said we were going
Please
to.
don't let me be.
Next
Don't
question.
worry.
Where has it set up camp? Or whatever.
Right. Right.
Pull yourself together, man.
As he spits, it winds up landing on Siegfried's shoe. Before he stands up and puffs his chest up. Right, well. The nasty fucker decided to take the tribe and go to an old ruined forest village directly east in the forest. Because it's a forest village.
Makes
And then
sense.
he set up there and set a challenge for me to come and face him so we could meet in combat and I could get my tribe back. But I don't fucking care about them because they betrayed me and I'm not going to be eaten by a fucking Barghest. So,
Are we 100% sure it is a Vargas? Oh, Vargas.
yes.
Okay, good news.
Goblin does
How
not
many
mistake a Barghest.
How
That
many
is why
goblins
I
went
have
with
filled my entire lair with oil. If he steps one fucking paw inside, I will light this up.
them? One way or another.
This way I get to go. I get to move on to my own afterlife in glory because I killed a Barghest.
Okay. How many goblins went with him?
Fuck, that's all. Just taking a moment here. Well, we lost a couple of the wargs. They went out to him. Let's see, all together now. So, yeah. 4 of the wargs went off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 11 of the basic our hunters. Our whole fucking hunting bunch went with him. And then Fincut, that little cunt. Him, I'll fucking kill myself. You leave him alive and drag him back, you get an extra reward of everything else I've got. That
Do you
fucker.
want the head of the Barghest as well?
No, I don't want that thing anywhere fucking near me.
Are you sure? Having its head, you might that you killed it.
I've also got shit.
Hey!
None of you revive anything, right? No, it doesn't matter if it's just a head. You bring the head back. I just want to make sure it's dead. But you take the teeth out.
Okay.
Leave it a gummer.
Fair enough.
Right. But you bring that
We
little...
shall see.
You bring that little bastard Fincut back to me. He was meant to be my bodyguard, my assassin, my main killer. He fucking betrayed me in a drop of a hat.
Do you realise we'll probably end up killing all the other goblins that went with them?
Do it. They're not worth anything to me.
Out of curiosity, how does he look?
Which one? Oh, Fincut? Or the Barghest?
Fincut. I'm assuming we're going to recognize which is the
Oh,
Barghest.
Fincut's easy to tell. He's the fucker obsessed with his knives and his blades. He's got these massive fucking metal claws. And he's blue. I don't know how the fuck he managed that. He's always toying around with poisons, apparently tries them on himself, and he's just blue. Reeks to high heaven, too. Like, not a good reek. A reek of just rot. Blech. He starts to stride back to his throne. He's gotten a little cocky now, as he sits down on it. So, you do that for me. You're rewarded fairly. We have a deal.
Yes.
Right?
Betray us and we'll wipe out the rest of your tribe.
Ha! I'd like to see you try, as he calls out very loudly to echo through the chamber and beyond. No, seriously, please, let's have a deal, please.
Yes.
Thank you, and if anyone asks, you were in the palm of my hand the whole time, right?
No.
No
It'll cost
bullshit.
extra.
Yeah, that sounds expensive, what you're asking.
The weird thing is, Mulgren, to you, that sounds like a good idea.
Really?
Yeah,
I wouldn't think.
it's strange. As you just think about the words, it just seems wrong. But it also seems, yeah, a good idea. Why not let him save face?
Yeah, we'll go with it. Because if he's the head of that and we're in control of him,
Bingo.
Yeah. Okay, I'm okay with this.
Let him live a little.
Now, he's been waiting for me for about, a week.
Can be pretty pissed.
Well, I'm not fucking going to him. Yeah, so...
How?
Go on.
I've heard that Vargas eat goblins, like 13 of them or whatever.
Yeah, it kills 13
Um,
because McLubliet betrayed them, so yeah. I'm sorry, a great Lord Magoobliet.
Does it eat 13 and then disappear, or if they eat 13 every week or something?
Oh, yeah. It eats 13. It goes back to the Infernal Realms, where it plays with a lot of demons. And the better goblins it eats, guys like me, really good goblins, it gets a higher position. It gets more praise and kudos. And, yeah, I'm not being eaten by one. I will burn to a fucking crisp before then.
Okay. Let's go deal with this goblin and this Vargas.
If he's in goblin form, you'll be able to tell him because he's got this really shitty grin. He's always fucking smiling.
Goblin form?
Oh yeah, because they make themselves look like goblins.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And then there's a
Did
moment...
you see him in his has anyone seen him in his full form?
Yes, in front of me. In here.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's a Bargist. And then,
Okay,
as
this is good
his
deal.
eyes are roving the group, he notices Droop. The fuck are you doing here?
Oh no.
They killed the bugbears and saved me. And now I'm traveling with them.
Yes, he is my apprentice now.
I am a great wizard.
He is indeed.
And Yimik just sort of slumps further into his chair, into his armor. His face disappears beneath the collar of it as he just glares. Right.
And I crouch down to Droop and say, Droop, show him your spell from earlier.
Oh, yes. I cast. And then out come the sheep. As they just mill around. And Yimik's just, his eyes go from one to the other to the other. What's the fucking point of that?
Well,
then,
your problem now. I believe we need to go. Farewell.
as you all walk away, you hear the sound of the sheep's dispersing. Ah! It's in my fucking eyes!
Let us go now. This is a silly place.
Hi, Pufflesworth.
Droop tugs lightly on your sleeve and just goes, he was always an asshole.
Oh, believe me, I know.
And you managed to get
So
out of the
let us say-
cave unmolested. Although there's a few weird looks thanks to Yimik yelling, but they check to see if he's okay. So
I'm
you're
so
outside.
tempted to throw a fire back in there.
We'll wait on that one for when we get double crossed.
Yeah. Let us head west. Let us find this forest village thing.
Well,
All right.
perhaps we should find a place to camp before we head there, so we at least approach in daylight.
It is pretty late by now.
Okay. Let's get a little away from the goblin village and then work on a camp spot.
All this time, Cassali has been squishing alongside you guys. And the moss has regrown now on her right horn, but it's actually sort of following the curve of it. It's almost something you could mistake for a decoration. But yeah, you managed
Is
to
she
find
looking any
yourselves
drier or just totally soaked still?
soaked, absolutely soaked. Everything is clinging. Every bit of clothing is just soaked right through. But also, you do notice that. Oh no, never mind. Actually, because she just disperses it into smoke. There was one of her effect, but yeah. And of course, she is
Okay.
leaving footprints behind, right through her boots.
Oh dear. Oh well, let us make camp.
I mean, they're just wet, so they're easily missed in the grass. And yeah, you set up another little clearing. It's fairly nice, actually. It's nice not to be always by the road. Until you realize as you're setting up the campfire, oh, the horses.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
They're kind of by themselves. In the wild. Oh well.
Surely nothing bad will come of that.
At the least, no bear's gonna walk off of your flail snail shell. And as you set up the campfire and get the pot boiling, it's all feeling quite nice. You're a little higher up now than you were before. You can see out, well, for a moment you can see outwards across the expanse. Great forest just stretching on into the horizon. Well, to the south. And then to your sides, it's sort of scrubby terrain. Still some tree line, but there was a lot of slopes and vertical climbs and whatnot. And now settled. So, the evening is yours.
I'm going to try to train Mr. Pufflesworth to stay.
Okay, you're going to repeat that lesson to see if it really sinks in. So give me an animal handling. You try a little bit. Now and again, you see some of the scraps of rabbit that weren't going to go into the pot, just sort of dangling in front of Pufflesworth. You push him down. Yeah, dangle in front of a beak. You try not to get your fingers pinched and just sort of step back and back and back. You keep commanding. Now and again, he's starting to sort of fidget, the back legs twitching a little bit as he tries to shift his backside closer to you. But he does seem to obey. At least until you get about 20 feet out, at which point he starts to just chase after you.
Good boy. Now stay until I can come back.
Well, no, I'm saying that's the results of your session. You can get about 20 feet away before he gets antsy and wants to be up to you.
Okay, I'll reward him for that. That's a good boy.
The rest of you witness this. You're watching a half-elf train one of the more notable monsters. Something that's widely known as, murders people, devours cattle, devours other bears. A creature that just keeps fighting and fighting. And has no sense of fear. Although it is adorable right now. It's just the cutest little thing.
It's a very effective defensive strategy at a young age, by the look of things.
Mm-hmm. Works for most species, except rats.
While
They're
we're
cutest
sitting
when
at
they're
the
older,
fire
and-
waiting for food to get ready, I'll start getting Droop to go over his ABCs again.
He's doing his best. Let's see just how well he's doing. He's doing his best. It's just not very good. Any other activities? Any conversation? You guys can't talk.
No, I can't. What are you talking about?
I'm too busy with Pufflesworth.
I'm too busy laughing at Rena trying to train Pufflesworth.
It is weird, Mulgurn, as you're sitting there, you're realizing, wait, what the fuck was that goblin talking about? I mean, you were
What
all
did he
on
say
board for it
again?
when you were looking at him, watching him, but you're just realizing, what? Why did I even give that a time of day?
How would we handle a Barghest?
That's what I was just wondering. I was going to ask the rest of the group, any idea of how to deal with this?
Joe, have you ever heard of any particular way to deal with Bargeist?
Besides feeding them weaker goblins.
I mean, you could kill them. We don't really talk a lot about that, but it's not like they're immortal or anything.
Well, it's more of that we're going to the place to meet, but we're not the goblin they want. Why the hell would the Barghest come out to play?
Yeah. I don't know. I do know if you put them in a fire and then keep them there for a bit, they'll vanish. They get, like, banished back to the hells.
Do we just go with the tried and true method of just taking off the head?
Oh, yeah,
Well-
that'll work. Yeah.
Well, it's more of how do we separate it from the rest of the goblins?
Well, he did say look for the one with the biggest shit-eating grin.
I
Going
do
to a-
suppose it would be the only one not quivering if something were to go wrong. Because I'm guessing the other goblins just joined up but so they don't get eaten.
Yeah, that's how that works, sadly. I mean, it's a really bad thing to have your soul eaten, I assume.
Oh yeah, it's not like you know from experience.
No, I really don't want to. But I'll stay behind your side for this one. Don't let it eat me, please.
Don't
we
worry,
won't
Drew.
let him eat you.
You're not our first choice as a bait to bring out the Barghest. Don't worry.
Wait, what?
You're not my choice at all.
Yay.
I was going to suggest having him at the cart, as far away from the Barghest as possible.
Yeah, but then I'd be alone in a Bargus territory.
True, and then there's the gnolls as well.
I don't think I can make them sleep. Or anything yet. I gotta keep working on my notes.
Well, I guess we just head there and call it out.
Oh, but yeah, if you put it in fire, it'll get banished forever. It still dies normally though. I think.
Well, I have plenty of options to set it on fire.
And so will I at some point. Again, out comes that gigantic peacock quill. So, anything else?
I'm just staying off my foot at the moment, just letting the ankle rest a bit more.
I will heal his ankle.
After 2 days, she
3
just realizes,
days.
oh, that's right, I promised I'd heal it. I mean, he did injure himself saving you and all. Attempting to save you. Didn't quite work.
I was gonna say it was a rather poor attempt.
But the attempt was made. Alright, who's
Oh,
sitting
yeah.
up for first watch while Rain heals the ankle and takes the last bit of soreness out of it?
Oh, in the ring, do we want to put the resurrection spell in the ring?
I don't think we could put things with material component.
You can, but he has to have the material component.
Ah,
Yeah, but we do got that.
Yep. You do have several diamonds.
in the wagon.
That way, if something.
No, but they're
Yeah.
definitely on the cleric. She would not leave those
Okay.
behind.
Yeah, no,
Or-
I'm not that stupid.
Although this cleric,
I'm not that stupid.
I can revive you. Wait, I don't have that spell prepared.
But, yeah, I'm not that stupid.
All right, who's on watch?
I'll do first watch.
I'll
I
take
didn't take-
second.
I didn't take one last time, so I'll take third.
Who took second?
Zazel took second.
Yeah, Siegfried, Zarzul, Malgern.
I can take fourth.
I'll join someone on a watch if they want.
I was about to say, I'll join somebody too for a change.
Did Siegfried volunteer for a watch? Because I think the cleric should go with
Yep.
him, just in case he gets hurt.
I'm first watch.
All right, guys, you can pick your ladies.
Oh, the single ladies.
I'll take the
oh,
horny
single
one.
ladies.
All right, Wolfgang sits beside you.
I'll take Wolfgang.
Nah, he's always at Zarzul's side.
Yeah,
Brothers for life,
good boy.
which in both cases won't be for long.
Oh.
Don't worry, the kobold dies first. Alrighty, first watch, whoever it be. Siegfried +1.
I'll go with Siegfried.
Well, that way it can keep healing his ankle.
Yeah, you just gotta heal his ankle, right?
It's just the tone. It's like he was the last guy at the dance.
Isn't that normal for me, though?
I have no idea. We don't know about Siegfried's past. Was he ever picked for soccer? Was he the last one for dodgeball?
No, that would be me in real life.
What are you talking about? You weren't picked for anything in real life.
Fuck off.
Says his wife.
Yeah, oh. That's the one person that willingly chose me.
Maybe it wasn't a choice. It was just an obligation.
That beat me horribly wrong, didn't it?
How much did my father pay you?
Probably
was va-
not enough.
It was that or a house full of cats.
Why not both?
I was gonna say she would take the house full of cats. We both know that. I mean, we already have 3 cats. I only wanted 2. But that's
Well,
beyond the point.
I think that's the best the two of you can do on a perception there. Unless you got a higher modifier, right?
Oh wait, yes I do. I think. Well, that was a pretty good roll.
At
so
the
no, I don't
least,
think I'm
you
gonna
can see in the dark,
Yeah.
Dark
Which
vision
does-
is a hell of a thing.
which does give you a clear advantage.
That button.
Siegfried is on edge, as he always is. Whereas you're taking it more casually, as he's looking for every single possible threat that could possibly come down on him, and they're all out there. But, I mean, you can still talk.
It's out to get me. I know it. There's ghouls out there.
Ghouls? Why do you think ghouls are out to get you?
Because they have the
True,
taste.
true. Mightn't be ghouls. Might be bagbears. Skeleton minotaurs. I don't know. They're out there.
Very distantly, you can hear a moo echoing through the night. But it does
I
sound
just-
different than the one you heard from a minotaur. It actually sounds like from a living cow.
I was about to say that's just a cow.
Are you sure?
Even
Oh,
Not
Sig-
I'm
anything
quite-
that does death beams, is it?
No, I'm quite sure that's a cow. I've heard cows before, and I've heard death beam cows before. There's a difference. I'm an expert in
I
these
just
things.
realized he's been traumatized so badly by cows. It's gonna get worse too.
Well, how many Minotaur skeletons do we go after?
There's been 5 or 6 of them, I think. You also know there is a village where they were living ones. Somewhere up ahead.
Could be just a standard Minotaur.
There are no cows that are going to come and eat you, I assure you. I'm an expert in these things. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
No, you're not. You're a faith healer. That's
I
even
look
worse.
at her very strangely.
It's up to you if you want to believe it.
Shouldn't I roll a persuasion?
It's not really needed. You get the feel for each other. You can tell when one another's bullshitting each other. Mostly. Depends how strong you want to push this, though. You believe her.
Oh, hold on. We haven't figured this out yet, because who knows? Maybe I'm going to. Oh, nope. Yeah, he believes me.
I mean, it's the first time she's brought up, but hey, she must be a doctor. I mean, she heals people.
You believe she's a fully certified doctor now.
I never said what kind of doctor.
Come on, leave some people for the enemy to kill.
She's a doctor of murderonomy and murderology. Well, that's comforting at least, slightly. But as you sit there and watch, yeah, nothing really progresses. I mean, there's some different nature sounds, but in general, it just feels like a calm night. A little chilly. But at least you seem to have managed to avoid the rain here. All right,
You
second.
didn't avoid me. I was sitting here.
No, I won't make that joke. I'm just going to point out that one of the rains is wet. All right, second watch. There you go. It clicked in there. Second watch.
Yep.
Zarzul and Wolfgang.
I'm going to cast guidance on myself.
I mean, you'd have
Help
advantage
my-
as well.
Yeah, but there's an extra D4 to my ability checks. So let's try perception, I'm guessing.
Yep. You're just keeping an eye out. Yeah, good roll. As you're just sitting there, you're thinking, that was a little rough with the toad. I mean, you managed to make a friend. But still, it's a shame he had to bite Wolfgang first. But then, beasts out there are pretty simple creatures. Some of them just react immediately. And there was that other friend, the big bear. He was nice. He didn't chew on anyone.
Yeah, it was a good friend.
But now, goblins and a barghest. And wargs. A lot of unknown things ahead there. You do pick up on there's some scuffling in the foliage around you. A lot of it just seems small, natural creatures maybe. It's hard to really pick up on. Might be a snack running around out there. And then from one of the bushes emerges a badger.
Huh.
In its mouth, it's got half a rat.
That's a heavy badger. All good.
It's glancing around for a moment and then just scrabbles away. And your watch ends. Peacefully, pleasantly, and hey, you got to see an animal, that's a bonus. It's one you know, too.
Yep. I recognize badger.
Yep, it's one of those things that are covered in quills. Definitely a badger. It's got that big orange bushy tail.
Uh-huh. Excellent.
Although, why has it got 6 legs? That's a weird thing. Anyway. Watch number 3. I think it was Malgern.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the dog, apparently. Cough, cough.
All right, Castalia marches up. It's a bit rough, though, Malgern. Come on. Show some decorum. She's a lady. She's just having a bad day. Yes, Castalia's, or your guy's choice if she joins up with Cornelius or Malgern.
It's up to her. I don't play her character.
I'm fine with either.
Well,
See, this
make
is
the
why I
choice.
said you could choose, because both of you are going, I'm fine with either. It's up to her. It's up to
Alright,
him.
then I'll go with Cornelius.
Malgern, you sit there for a moment thinking you're alone until something scoots beside you. It's green. It's very small, and it's nervous as fuck. So, please kill the Barghest. Please.
That's the plan.
Just really make sure, because if it eats me, I'm gone forever.
Thinking to myself, he normally doesn't care about anything. This thing has really got him on edge.
I mean, come on, he's gonna face his boogeyman.
Yeah. I'll kill it, don't worry. Nothing scarier than me.
Well, I mean, no offense, but Cornelius can make a ball of fire and move it around.
Okay, fair enough.
Pretty scary. Also, Siegfried can stab things really, really, really well.
And I can't?
I mean, he stabs it really well. But, like, with a short sword. And then Castalio, she can be scary.
Yes, she can.
But the good kind of scary, I think. Maybe?
So far, it seems.
I mean, she's not used anything on us.
Yet.
Hush you, you're sleeping.
So, yeah.
We'll kill it. We'll kill it, Drew. Don't worry.
Please. And he will help out with your perception check. At disadvantage.
I just can't let him help too much, huh? I mean, yes, he got like a negative.
As the two of you are sitting there, you do pick up slightly on. There is a rustle of leaves somewhere behind you. It's quite far away, though. And then there's a few little, like, pit pads afoot. But it's going away, and then just in a few seconds it's gone. And you can't pick up on anything else of the trail.
Was that in the same direction behind me?
Yeah, it was in the same place. But it was going to the west.
I could send Droop after it.
Have the power to do so. The rest of the party is asleep.
Yep.
I mean,
Are you going to enforce your will on this goblin?
this is the last watch, right?
Nope.
No.
Second to last.
Okay.
Still nighttime right now.
Who's after me?
Cornelius, the owner.
Okay. I'm gonna wake Cornelius up, but I'm not gonna go back to sleep. I'm gonna let him know that I heard something.
You're not going to go back to sleep?
Mother.
No.
Okay,
I'm
that'll
gonna
be a
suggest
con
we-
save from you.
Yeah. I'm gonna suggest we investigate. But I'm not going alone.
Hey! No, that's a good idea. Wait, Cornelius. He'll get us through this. I mean, there's also Castalia you know is going to take the next watch.
Screw it. We'll get them both up then.
As this heavy, clanking dwarf just nudges the two of you awake.
Yes. What? Is it time?
Yes, it's time. Get up. There might be something in the woods. I think we should check it out.
All right.
Oh,
I
fine,
s-
fine.
As I get up, summoning out some dancing lights.
Clearing is lit up. Castalia, it's pretty unpleasant as you come out of your bedroll and it's just sopping wet. You don't feel it as much. Like, it doesn't feel horribly uncomfortable. It's clinging. And it just feels heavy. It's just so sodden.
Uh,
But on the bright side, you don't feel the cold of it. You still feel your own internal temperature pretty nice.
at least that's good.
Do you want me to relieve you of that whip?
No, we have our task. It shall bloom eventually. Once I figure out how.
And yeah, as you lit up the clearing and move the little lights about, there's no sign of anything so far.
Now, which direction did you say they were?
They were behind.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. You seem to be very far away.
No, I'm mumbling to myself. So they were behind me.
It was
that was
behind you, so
south.
basically the north.
Oh, north.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I
Point
sent up.
north.
I sent out one of the lights in that direction. Try and
It reveals
Circle the
tree
area a
trunks,
bit.
bushes, one very startled mole.
It's the mole. Get it.
It's from standing here to the distance, you don't see anything. There's no figure or whatnot.
well, I don't see anything.
How loud was the noise that I heard? Could it have been the mole, you think?
Nah,
Well,
it
I
was
think-
definitely something bigger than a mole.
Okay.
And
I
you heard it
didn't know if
running.
That's where this was going. If you were gonna have me do all this and then be like, oh, it's a freaking mole. Okay. In that case, you want to move the light farther north? While I move up a little bit.
I mean, the suggestion is also you guys could move up to where the sound was. Right now, he's
Oh,
moved
yeah.
his out, beyond 60 feet. And you're just sort of looking, I don't see anything there.
Okay. Well, where's the sound then? I'll move towards it.
Well, the sound's gone,
Hopefully.
long gone, but you got a vague idea of where it could be. You start to check through.
I'm gonna start checking through up here then.
You can see on one of the trees there's a snap branch. There's...
Oh.
Hmm?
I'm gonna teleport.
Well, you can speak up. You're also awake at this point.
What did it sound like?
As far as you could tell, it sounded like there was foot, like movement of some sorts. Might be feet. And then you heard, before that you heard rustling.
But it was definitely rather large.
Potentially Jimmy's.
Oh, they don't want to wrestle my jimmies.
Well, I follow behind Brigier a bit, keeping lights around us so we can see something.
Did Zarzul tell us of the bear?
Well, the bear was yesterday.
Yeah, but did he tell us of it?
Yep.
I
Like,
assume so.
I
Then it
just
might be
wanted us not to
fair.
go north. That was about it, and it's miles behind us now.
Alright. The two of you, since you're checking out, give me an investigation check. One of you with advantage. So,
Well,
probably
I'm
going to
not the
be...
best at investing.
Yeah, there we go. Probably
Yeah.
Cornelius, yeah.
I was gonna say, and I still rolled higher than him, even with the -1. Nice.
Nice. Yeah, as you're sifting around, do you notice depressions in the grass? And then... Yeah, you recognize these feet marks. You've seen stuff like this before, mainly in your own manner after bringing Droop in. There's a few goblin footprints here.
Can I tell which way the trail's leading?
It's actually a little jumbled, and there's gaps as well whenever you get to the trees. They might have
That
been
does sound
attempting to
like
sneak.
That does sound like goblins.
Yeah. But yeah, you can see that the trail leads off into the west, where the forest village is. Well, the direction of it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Well, we're not gonna be able to surprise them.
But do we do anything about it now?
I think if they had any interest of attacking us in the middle of the night, they would have done so by now. Right now, I believe they probably ran off.
Probably
to
to
find a better
report.
time.
It's just goblins. Just somebody wake me up if they come back, I guess.
All right.
Actually, with that 18, you can tell one thing, though. That as you're checking the trail and you go further on, it seems to have diverted at one point. As in, they were starting to head more off to the side before they started to home in on your little group.
Might have been a patrol. Will not be surprised. Maybe they were trying to find the location here.
Or something else caught their eye first.
Perhaps.
Should
Yep.
we go look?
As you all stand there, you also do hear another distant moo.
I'm not sure we should be leaving the rest of the camp.
True.
Yeah, that's too much splitting.
Well, they're also asleep.
Yeah.
I don't want one lookout to suddenly be taken.
One goblin leaping from bedroll to bedroll with a knife.
Well, we're returning to camp then, I guess.
I see no other choice.
Alright. The three of you return to camp, I guess.
Mhm.
Droop did not leave the camp. Droop is currently hiding underneath a wagon. Was it the Bargist?
Nah,
No.
much too small.
Uh,
I believe it was one of your kin that might pass by.
Kin?
Yes, other goblins.
Oh, okay. So kin means goblins. That's a weird word for us.
Well, more. Never mind. Go to bed, Droop.
Oh, fantastic. He starts to scrabble into your tent. Now, does the dwarf stay awake?
No, Dork goes to sleep.
Just gets
Yeah,
to the
pretty
bedroll
much.
and just falls into it.
Yeah, I'm already late.
Leaving
So
just
I
the
will
tiefling
be-
and the wizard. The devil and pure evil themselves.
You're a
Yes,
learned man. What do you think she meant when she make it again?
Well, I guess the most obvious thing is to literally make it bloom, but perhaps it's more metaphorical. Perhaps you have to achieve what she did, in order to make it bloom, to become a protector, to be above yourself, to sacrifice something, perhaps.
Like a virgin. No, wait.
It might also be one of conquest. To basically defeat something she could not, although likely in defense of something that so. Still.
Well, she was the protector of a town, and blooming usually means the prosperity of something as well. So I vengeance does not sound like what you would do to make something bloom. Vengeance is a hard thing. While some say it's best delivered cold, it usually doesn't grow much afterwards.
I thought that was revenge.
Yes, that's what I said. Revenge.
No, you said vengeance.
As we learned from Platinum Games, revenge and revengeance are two different things.
Mm. Do you think Raxis is still alright?
Excuse me?
We haven't yet been to Raxis. How do you think it fares?
Well, succession wars are rarely a clean affair. There will be deaths. Servants will be slaughtered in the streets if they are thought to be giving information of their masters or some other master. A lot of innocent lives at stake. People holed up indoors, mistrust. It will not be a pretty sight.
Mm. Hopefully we'll arrive before the worst of it happens.
Oh, no, believe me, the worst most likely already have happened if there's already have been refugees.
I'm sorry.
Now, most likely is the slow death. Death will trickle. Whereas when they started, it will most likely be horrific. Screaming, blood, power moves. Now they have to move carefully. Alliances has been made, but they will always be very untrustworthy alliances.
Mm.
When we get in there, do not believe any deals we make. Our deals in that city will only be to in order to get the people out that we are looking for.
Right. Our duty above all else.
Trust me. Once nobles of this rank starts for power plays, you do not wish to be caught in the middle.
Mm.
Very nice work. Castalia and Cornelius, you both get a point of inspiration.
Woo!
That's a free reroll.
Nice.
That's
Also,
my
I really
second
hope that
inspiration.
Also, I really hope that Cornelius was looking at like the water dripping off Castalia's nose when he mentioned dripping. As it just sort of got to his head. Just flowing, just pouring with blood.
In other words, can you please put away that goddamn whip?
It's very distracting. Again with the squishy shoes. But yeah, it's quite a nice little thing. You click it on the sheet and it gives you that little Dungeons and Dragons ampersand thing. Or a little dragon symbol correction. So don't forget you have those, because you only have the one.
Oh, okay. Oh, goddamn it. I thought I could save them. Well,
Nope, just the one.
yeah, because you gave me one a long time ago when I was mentioning that I'd seen another magician who could pull creatures out of a hat. That's why I was not impressed by the bowling hat. Bowler hat.
The bowling hat, yeah.
Fuck, that was from campaign 1. You still had that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're really good with our resources.
That was before we were even on roll 20.
Yep.
We're gonna get 5 grenades, and at the end of this campaign, we're perhaps.
And give me your perception checks.
Alright.
Ugh.
I mean, you've got a lot in your mind, Cornelius. There's a bit of a personal issue there when you think about Raxis. I mean, not to the same degree, but, I mean, things are tense in the family. And then there's also the friends and contacts you have and acquaintances who have been through this sort of thing. Not to Civil War degrees, but, you know, it's never pleasant when family turn on each other. For Castalia's case, just... Again, you're getting used to it, sort of. It's You're a bit more used to barren terrain, a bit more mountainous. And really, it's strange not to be, in a hair's breadth of a town at any point. This is proper wilderness. Only slightly claimed by goblins, but they don't make roads. Need hobs for that. There's also this strange little, well, all the novelty of the sensations of this whip it has on you. The coldness, the damp, everything around you being soaked to the touch. And just leaving your foot sitting in the dirt for a while actually causes it to become just waterlogged mud.
Ugh.
But you keep your eyes open, you keep your ears peeled. You don't feel any sense of return from the goblins. I mean, that was the main worry, of course. They'd report and then come back with reinforcements, but no arrows, no horns, no shifty little fuckers with pointed noses. Yeah. Morning arrives. You're all alive. And the watch ends.
Walk Orin. Start waking people up.
Gently or dynamically?
A little kick at the feet.
It was when Thaumaturgy is a good cantrip. I scream like a bellows.
Is that river there? Is that just because the map is how it is?
Yeah, it's just because of a map. Also, you guys have moved on from there.
Alright, is there a fresh source of water right close by?
If you want to search for it, give me a survival check.
Second survival, but let's go for it.
Yeah. It's almost like you've got a natural sort of feel for water. You step through squishy shoes and all. I mean, you make sure to inform them before you step out of the camp. And it only takes, a handful of steps, really, from beyond the 60-foot radius if you were mostly just to keep watch on. And you do find a nice little trickle down from the hill of a tributary. Well, not tributary, a little stream. It's only about, it's only a handful of inches wide, but the water's running fast. That's always a good sign.
Alright, I fill the pot and bring it back. That way we can have some soup.
Doing
I'm dead
that,
set on this.
with that roll, I'll say you get a little bonus. There's a frog in the pot.
Oh, nice.
Normal size, nice dull colors.
No, not the fun frogs.
Yeah, not the enjoyable ones.
Not the ones Siegfried wants.
Frank, tell me, how long ago did you lick me?
Well, then I can wake everyone up by clanging the pot and saying, "Hey, we got some frog stew about to be made."
The frog looks displeased with the clang.
Oh, God. Frog stew? Now that's something I haven't had in a while.
Pricey's had it at all.
Zarzul, you get a sense of confusion from the frog.
Oh, God.
Okay.
That's right, he gets
Is it a
emotions from them,
poison?
don't forget.
Is it a poisonous frog?
No, it looks like the very common frog.
Okay, excellent. Don't worry, little friend, it'll be over shortly.
As he slowly lowers the lid.
That's not right, man. That's not right.
Oh, God.
Oh.
No way.
Little monster comes out in every member of the party over time.
Well, with lid on, I use the flint and tinder box and start heating up the pot.
Effortlessly.
I just witnessed what Siegfried said, and I'm gonna start praying. Good lord, do we need it?
What did I say?
Between
He mistook you for
Zarzul.
Zarzul.
Oh, Zarzul. Yeah. Kobold, human, same thing.
Yeah. Don't worry, little friend. It'll all be over shortly. As he's just helping this frog along to its croak.
Well, it could be worse. We could have
You know,
to go
you
get a
just-
bunny.
You're supposed to actually butcher and gut them before you cook them, right?
Oh. That makes sense.
You may have,
Oops.
yeah.
As
you
you
may have
lift the
missed a
lid,
step
you
there.
feel terror. You feel terror. You feel horror coming out of that frog. Everything hurts and it doesn't know why.
New plan. How about we have grouse for soup?
Alright. I scoop out the frog and go to return it to the lake.
It runs like fuck.
Source of water.
Nalgurn is no longer hungry.
Cornelius
I-
slightly sad.
I clean and gut the grouse and portion it up for the soup.
It's easy enough. You even stick the bones in. Helps the flavor. And for fun, give me a... Let's see. Yeah, fuck it. Give me a survival roll from Castalia with advantage. Because of Zarzul's assistance in prepping the meat.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you guys settle down to a bowl full of grouse stew and soup, it's missing a few greens, but it's very enjoyable. The nice thing is, with her spice pouch, it's got that extra little kick of flavor you wouldn't expect from normal camp food. And yeah, it's a pleasant way to start the day. Not for that frog. That frog's fucking traumatized for life, but, you know, for the rest of you, this is fine. Although Pufflesworth is annoyed that he's not getting the bones immediately, as he paws at the pot.
I would have surely would have gone for the giblets and
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but they're gone in seconds. It's a growing boy.
He needs lots of food. Oh, let's put my mic down. He needs lots of food.
Yeah, like a horse or a deer or a kobold.
Ooh, a kobold might work.
Where are the horses at the moment?
They are back wherever you stowed the cart.
How far away is with the cart time-wise?
You
roughly,
didn't
to
go
get
that
back
far.
there and
You're
check
looking
them
at
over?
probably about half an hour, 45 minutes walking.
Is that round trip or just one direction?
That's one direction. It's not much whenever you think about the whole day you've got ahead of you.
Anybody want to come with me while we go and check on the horses, make sure they're good, and maybe move them a bit further away from the road?
I'll go with you because we also have to feed the horse. And likely take
Yep.
them to the source of water I found so they can drink.
Sounds like a plan.
may as well go as a group.
I mean, you don't have to.
Oh, yes, we do.
Someone's got to be here to watch the pot after all.
Why? We already, you know, I'm guessing we're taking the pot with us.
I'm just saying, you know, you don't always have to travel as a full unit.
Oh, yes, we do.
Absolute unit.
As you're walking down, you do notice in the daylight, and you've got a slightly elevated position now, you were walking up a hill for a bit. You do see that same stretch of road that you diverted from, and you can see a bush in the middle of the road.
How much do you want to bet there's a goblin on that?
Wait, does it have a sign that says not a goblin?
No, it's just a bush, although from your angle, you guys can see there's a goblin's foot sticking out the back of a bush.
Very inconspicuous.
I mean, you make do with what
Oh
you've got.
my.
In this
It's
case,
totally not a goblin.
Hello, friend.
That's what I was afraid of.
As you yell this out, the bush shivers for a second. And then tries to remain still. Also, as you continue walking down, you do find the horses are just sort of... Well, Castalius runs up to her. The other two aren't that bothered. And the cart is also still there.
I look back at the bush, which probably isn't very far away at this point. Just make sure our horses don't go disappearing, would you?
Fuck off!
Is that Yadric?
Yeah, it's Yarvik again.
Ah.
Also, small suggestion. I probably shouldn't tell you this, but bushes generally aren't in the middle of the road.
There's no response.
What he's saying is if you don't move your bush to the side of the road, then everybody's going to know you're not a bush.
Again, there's no response.
I stick my head in the bush.
You walk down the road, stick your head in the bush, and he just slowly rolls around to look up at you. I'm trying to fucking work here!
And what I'm saying is if you want to work, move it off the road, and now people won't know you're here like we did.
But then how do they stop? Because if I'm not in the road, they just drive on.
They'll probably just drive on anyways and assume that you're going to get killed under their wagon wheels.
Not when they fall for my plan of telling there was an ambush.
You could just ambush
You
them.
only saw through it because you fucking read my mind, you tricksy elf. Now get out of here, knife ears. I'm trying to work.
If I can read your mind, I can read other people's mind. And if people are coming down the road, I can guarantee you it won't work.
There's a moment where his eyes cross for a second as he tries to work this out. No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. You're only reading my mind because you're close to me. Now, fuck off. This is my bush.
Okay. I warned you and it didn't work. Just remember I told you.
As you're walking away and Zarzali notices you look down, the bush is scooting to the right onto the grass.
Okay, so we moved the wagon off a little bit further into the bush and make sure the horses are tended to properly.
Yeah, they seem pretty healthy. Castalia's one is very pleased that she's back.
I comfort and pet the horse. Give it some food. Well, horse need food.
Yeah,
And I
it's
should
very easy to
really give
convince.
him the name.
And you do realize that the little shit obviously lied to you because, I mean, it wasn't that hard going. Might be a little rough for the cart, but easy enough to take the horses.
Yeah, I'll probably take the horses along.
It's not hard at all to bring them up to the campsite, and I assume you do a little bit of a job of trying to hide the cart at least.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, in about 45, well, about an hour after dealing with the... you sneak the cart into the wilds. There it mingles into its natural habitat.
Oh, good.
The trees.
Yes. It once was among them. If you leave it long enough, it might go native.
Well, if we leave the whip on it, it probably would.
Yeah, very quickly, potentially. Just thinking of the constant squishing of Castalia. And yeah, you return to the campsite with horses in tow.
Okay. And we head off towards the abandoned town.
Taking the steeds with you?
Might as well. They can help us carry the loot out.
Alright then.
Or one hog-tied goblin. Might help with, so we don't have to carry him.
Yeah, because, I mean, just looking at a glance, the droop, you can tell they're very difficult to carry around. his noodly arms.
Yeah,
Mind you,
I
he's a
mean-
nerd of goblins.
Yeah, but we're talking about a goblin that is going to be trying to get away from us because he knows things are going to go badly for him shortly.
Well, I'm going to have to bring in the horse tokens in. Where did I last have them? And yeah, as you set off on the travels, I mean, you've got an idea of what to look for. So even though you're in unknown territory, and especially with Zarzul in tow, you're able to step ahead pretty reliably. Let's
Yes,
see.
in fact, if we go back to our campsite, we even have tracks we can follow.
Dee-ba-doo. 1 horse. 2 horse. 3 horse.
Bad horse, bad horse.
That's my horse.
My horse is amazing.
But
And
does taste just like raisins.
and let's see here. Let's reveal. Sort of. As you arrive at the ruined village. It is daylight, but you know, there's things obscuring vision and whatnot. Before you can see many ruined buildings. Most of them worn down to just bare stonework that doesn't, you can't even distinguish between the bricks. And as you set foot in this terrain, we're going to end the session here because otherwise it will go on for a long time. And we are reaching our time. But next time, possibly a Barghest fight. Possibly the slaughter of goblins. Or maybe it's the TPK we've been waiting for. So yeah, next time. So much possibilities there. And again, it'll be next week when we join up again with D&D Rescue within Raxis. Now I hit